What could you do to the S23 Ultra to make the S24 Ultra like stand out? And Samsung chose AI features, which are not free after 2025. Whew. So is the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra truly an iPhone killer? Yes and no. But when it comes to every Android user, is this the Android phone to buy? I mean, year after year, Samsung tends to bring the Ultra to the Android space. Last year, the S23 Ultra is arguably the best smartphone of 2023. Arguably. Because there are areas where the iPhone 15 Pro Max of 2023 is the better phone. But it's 2024, right? And we now have the S24 Ultra coming in hot, steaming hot, with a little bit of extra sizzle. Now that the hype is dying down and we're getting to the reality of the people who own this thing, and we are weeks beyond the initial bugs, there were some controversial cons and mishaps with the S24 Ultra at launch. Even there was this article about a VP or a high executive at Samsung not being happy with the S24 Ultra, lack of innovation, and I'm pretty sure the mobile market over there, again, I know some people don't believe me when I say this, but there is a such thing as analytical work and earning calls. But let me put all that aside because you guys be getting in your feelings. The S24 Ultra, super solid phone, especially for my Android users, my diehard Android users and my Galaxy Note users. Once a Note user, always a Note user, and this is basically a Note to a degree with some shavings off, But what's the reality around the S24 Ultra this year versus like the S23 Ultra? My S23 Ultra users right there, you guys might be salty about the AI features, but I mean, once they come to the S23 Ultra, what's the separation? And that's some of the things to talk about. Let's get into some of the petty cons. You guys already know how we do. We get the bad out of the way, then we start talking about the good, because there is a lot of good with the S24 Ultra. Number one, the biggest con with the S24 Ultra, there was a price increase of $100 on the total retail price, and all of the keynote was about these AI features from Google, and they're temporarily free. Now, I made a video before the phone release and told you guys this. A lot of people didn't believe me. They thought I was being a Samsung hater. And then in the fine print, it showed its truth. And 2025, I guess the end of 2025 is the end of free AI features. So what will that look like after 2025? Is it going to be a subscription and so forth? But it's kind of misleading because you have a keynote. Your whole advertising pitch for the S24 Ultra are these AI features, and some of them are really dope. Well, one of them for sure that I'm going to talk about. But then, you hide the fact that you don't own them. You buy this phone, but you don't own the features. And those can come at a subscription in the future. We have to wait until the end of 2025 to find out, but it's not the best feeling. I'm not going to get too deep into it because, again, Samsung Nights, y'all start pulling out your swords, y'all start whining, even though I'm keeping it real, brutally honest, and just straight to the point. It's not a good look, in my opinion, but it comes with the, territory of AI and cloud services. There needs to be payment for those servers. I don't know if you come after the customers for that, but maybe you do, Comment down below your thoughts and feelings on that, because that's a whole topic and video and discussion in itself. Now, another thing with the S24 Ultra, they're boasting this new heatsink and so forth, but if you do a stress test, the S24 Ultra will begin to thermal throttle, just like every other processing chip over an extensive stress, high performance, high usage test. They're going to start the thermal throttle, and that's just protection for the chip. Not a big deal. I just want to clarify that, but it might be a con to some. I don't know. I haven't noticed it in my everyday use. I'm going to do a heavy gaming video with this thing. Let me get a little controller backbone, throw it on there, and go crazy in COD and some other games. And let's see if we could get this thing to throttle. Now, another con with this new beautiful titanium. This thing looks great. Let's be real. A moment of silence and admiration for the S24 Ultra and its titanium beautiful casing. But titanium scratches and nicks, and it shows itself if you tend to nick it. Now, I'm good. Here's what I'm going to say to you guys. And most of you guys do this. You guys wear cases on your devices. I typically go naked, unless I'm wearing a naked case, like this one right here from Pataka, right? This is the case that I actually had on today, and I dropped. Was that today or was that yesterday? That was today. I dropped my phone in the street on that rough, rugged concrete. And I'll get a zoom in for you guys right there at the S Pen too. So that was a corner drop, and those are dangerous. But the case took the damage. But I'm certain if I would have dropped on that gravel ground on the bare titanium, it would have got scratched up. It would have been, noticeable. And that's one of the things, but that's with all of these premium flagship devices. As I struggle to get this case off, you just gotta care for them. And, I'll go caseless. I don't know though. This kind of saved my butt. But there's been reports of easy scratching on the front panel as well as easy scratching on the titanium surface. Just want to put that out there. Yeah. Now, another con, and this is not really like a con, this is just a petty, comment I'm going to throw out there. People hate when I talk like this, but I could care less. All these years, if Samsung, chasing or going at Apple, why is it that Samsung, or shall we say Snapdragon, I don't know, it's the combination, this is Snapdragon for Samsung, why is it still not outperforming the iPhone? Now, when you look at numbers and benchmarks, which I don't count those as, the end all be all, but technically the iPhone continues to be the leading processing chip. In all of these years, why haven't Samsung and the S24 Ultra or any S Ultra caught up to Apple? It's just a question I have. You know what I mean? It's just something to think about. But that does not take away from how great this device is, as I get a spam risk call and we hit them with the voicemail. Another thing I want to speak about with this, and we're going to test it in a bit, but I have this comment every year. It's Samsung's color science, especially with different skin tones and the over brightening. I forget what they turn up. I think they turn up the whites or whatever. I get annoyed with that because it doesn't help represent my skin tones. So we're going to test it with the S24 Ultra when I get to the camera section, but that's always typically a little con I run into with Samsung's cameras. There was some other drama with the Samsung cameras as well. There was even a Samsung camera update rumored before the phone even released. Again, Samsung, I tell you guys all the time, get your camera software together. It is what it is. Nobody wants to be realistic when you're caught up sipping the Samsung juice and you're a Samsung Knight and you just basically being a sheep for the Samsung side, just as there are sheep for the Apple side. There's no difference, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to continue to call them out. We're going to test it and we're going to find out. And then last but not least, in the cons, this is a true con and a true reality. There are no real upgrades in the S24 Ultra versus the S23 Ultra. Now, does there have to be? No. It's perfectly fine to do refinements. The S22 Ultra to the S23 Ultra was a refinement. And then we're continuing another refinement into the second year with the S24 Ultra. But they got it so right with the S23 Ultra. It was like, what could you do to the S23 Ultra to make the S24 Ultra stand out? And Samsung chose AI features, which are not free after 2025. Let's get into the good about the S24 Ultra and get all of the hateful comments that are already being typed by the hateful, the stupid, Samsung fanboys. All right, my first W with the S24 Ultra is we now have a fully flat front panel AMOLED, fully flat. No more of the curved edge. I'm not a fan of the curved edge because one, if you use the S Pen like I do, you get the roll off. But also, it's not it. No, the flat is better. The flat is where it's at, and I'm glad to see Samsung revert. Now, the thing is, when you get into the flat panel, all these OLED panels have to have that little black edge to them. But Samsung, in true fashion, as they are the best, display manufacturers in the game, they did their thing. Even with the bezels on the S24 Ultra, they're pretty chill. And they did even more with this anti-reflective coating on the front. Bow. So as you guys can see, let's unlock it. I'm not gonna lie, my fingerprint thing hasn't been the best. My fingerprint experience, now I've been moving into this new studio. I burnt my fingers with the drill bit, and oh man, I've done a lot. So I don't know if it's my fingertips or if it's Samsung's fingerprint sensor, but you know what I'm saying? But it's very effective, and in true Samsung fashion, they have one of the best OLED panels on the market. Now, there was a little controversy with the vivid mode not working and the phone only representing the natural, which in my opinion, natural is where you put your OLED panel, and that's how you get the true color representation and the accurate colors versus the vivid. I don't like vivid. I mean, Samsung, you guys could have got rid of it, but they released a fix for it, and you guys can have your vivid. Your oversaturated, color popping, vivid, non-realistic OLED panel. It's cool though. It adds to the vibrancy and just the feel, and it's vivid. Yeah. Okay, another great thing like that I've enjoyed having this device, you know, weeks later and so forth, is the circle to search. Now that's one AI feature that I am thankful for. Unfortunately, I would hate to see it go to a subscription model because to me it is unfair. Here's the reality when it comes to AI. Just a quick little rant on this whole subscription thing, right? Samsung relies on Google for all of their AI. Matter of fact, Samsung relies on Google. They're right in the backs of Google for their devices. I mean, they tried their OS in the past. I guess they gave up and so forth. So yeah, all of these features are courtesy of Google. So essentially, these Samsung devices are nothing more than Google phones with a bunch of mods and bolt-ons. If you know cars, then you know what I'm talking about. You know, you buy the stock car, but then you bolt on all these aftermarket parts. Samsung are the aftermarket parts that are being bolted on to Google's whole platform, right? It's fine, it's cool, we love it, we appreciate it. The circle to search though is fire. I love it, I appreciate that. No more gatekeeping. Somebody got something fire in their desk set up, I'm circling that joint and I'm finding it. Love it. Next pro to this thing to talk about, battery life. Yeah, we getting straight to it. We getting straight to the goods up front in the video. I'm not gonna hold it off and drag it off to, you know, some further part. Battery life on the S24 Ultra. And a big way that I can test battery life on Android devices a lot of times is in standby, letting it sit and chill. Plus, I've been busy, you know what I mean? But I've been busy with this bad boy. And battery life is great. I appreciate it. Even though we didn't get a physically larger battery, the beautiful thing that I've been saying for years, and I've been saying Samsung needs to optimize. Now Samsung optimized. Now all the Samsung fans are happy. You guys have great battery life. But when CJ was saying it back then, y'all in y'all feelings, y'all think, oh, calling me Apple sheep and stuff. No, I'm just pushing for Samsung to give us the devices. Great. I love Samsung devices. I'm a Note user. Remember that. Once a Note user, always a Note user, and I've always been a fan of the Galaxy Note, even before I had a Galaxy Note. And that was the one phone that got me to like leave Apple completely for like a year or two, maybe. I stepped out and I was just living. And that's another thing to talk about later on in this video. Is this an iPhone replacement? And what is that like, right? For my Apple users that are like myself that maybe want to look into something new. I'll discuss that in a second. But battery life, great. The S23 Ultra has that. You find S23 Ultra for the low, you're getting great battery life. The AI features are coming. You know what I mean? Those temporary AI features. So from a cost perspective and reality, you know, look, you can get an S23 Ultra right now and be good. But if you're in the market for the S24 Ultra, this device is fire. It's great. It's a great phone, right? And the battery life is awesome, and that matters. That's one of the big things when it comes to the user experience. Battery life is a huge thing. And there's another thing in the user experience that's huge in mobile phones, and that's camera. So I took a couple photos, right? Chilling up on the couch, flicked up a couple selfies. You know, that's what we do. We take photos of ourselves or our family and our loved ones. Now, the S23 Ultra is rocking at 5x zoom now, right? The same 5x that was on, you know, the 15 Pro Max when it came out. Everybody was like, oh, we got 10x, da-da-da. But higher megapixel count and that focal length, that compression and so forth. So we got to play with that. I'm going to snap some photos with that. And then we got to play with photos and videos in this well-lit space. I'm going to see if the color science is any better. I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, but I've given up hope. I'm going to be honest. I do it year after year, and then I get disappointed year after year. Except for when I use pro video and pro camera mode, I'm able to take control of it and not let that AI algorithm camera app do its hideousness. So Let me whip this camera out really quick and let me snap a photo of you guys. Let's see. See, we in pro video already. Let's just go to regular photo, right? Let me go to the 5X because that's that one. Oh, dang. Hold up. That thing. Hold up. Let me get back real quick. I got to get like a little saucy photo. Hold up. Let me get that right. Let me get 5X portrait. Now, let's cop a portrait selfie in the studio, right? Let's cop a regular photo. This is just a regular app. I'm not doing nothing crazy. Because we're questioning, is the science going to be there? Now, let me flip it back to that wide, the most used lens, right? Bruh. Do it on this side, man. This what I'm talking about. Let me take a look at that real quick. Oh, let's get a shot of the Yeezys. And my new rug I just got from IKEA. See, not off to a good start, Samsung. Come on, man. All right, let me see what that photo look like. Let me just take a peek, okay? All right, boom, boom. You know, from the screen, which I never trust the, display as far as the color signs, it looks pretty good, actually. So let me hit up a video really fast. All right, video is typically where things start to, get a little questionable a lot of times on these devices. So we using a front-facing camera, video. This is ideal lighting situation, so there's no excuses. All right, I don't know how in focus or how in frame I am, but this is the rare main camera that everyone's gonna use to record video in the studio. How's it looking? I'm not gonna cap. When I look at the panel, we looking good. But you guys saw it on the screen, so comment down below and let me know. Is this the year that I can celebrate? Or are we still disappointed? So, if the camera is fine, we already know we love the panel on here. The software, One UI 6.1, One UI 6.0 in general has been pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm running Nova Launcher on here. And here's something I gotta give, reality to. Right now we're talking about platform, right? Samsung has a nice platform. One UI is getting close to being where it should be. But here's my gripe, right? You have One UI, which is Samsung's like stock, platform that you get your device with. One UI obviously on top of Android. But then there's Good Lock, right? Which is by Samsung, I guess, or something. And it's where you get to customize and do all this stuff. The fake Nova Launcher, right? Here's my problem. So there's one for the theme, right? And you have to use that in order to get the custom icons. So I have certain custom icons, which if you guys can see right here, these custom colorful icons. I've been using these colorful icons for years, right? And I found on the S23 Ultra that I could use those same icons in One UI. So I was like, okay, I gave One UI a try with the theme. You can kind of like get it like to a close close to a Nova Launcher experience. But the theme that you create in there, when you switch devices, like I literally plugged in my S23 Ultra into the S24 Ultra to bring my phone with me, that did not translate over. So there's no way to back up that theme and bring it to your new device, which means you have to build a new theme entirely. And that's all kinds of different things that you do in there that I did, and I don't have it. Super frustrating. Nova Launcher, you could do a backup. I literally just, like shared it, like, the airdrop, the Android share, whatever, Android airdrop, straight to my S24 Ultra, and I got my setup. So, yeah, I think One UI and Good Lock, they need to work on that. Why won't they just become one? Why isn't One UI and Good Lock and all of those features just all in one? It's just a question I have. This is the fragmentation of Android where things become more complex than I think they need to be. Just my opinion, right? From a user experience perspective, this is the topic that we're going to talk about. The most important topic is user experience. This phone is fly, right? Now, let's keep it real. The S24 Ultra had bumps along the way. It's still rocky right now, but most devices start off a little rough. I remember, the 15, you remember the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max and all of that, and then hit the update and we fixed some things. Same thing I'm expecting with this, except some things are not fixable or some things are not going in the direction of being fixed, like the camera app, right? Why stick to the same algorithm? Why not improve? There are these areas where I'm just like wondering, and I'm not talking about just low light and just the camera app and the skin tones. There are just other things too, like how I pointed out how One UI and Good Lock and all these different, like, why is it so much? Why does it take so long when it could be so easy? But like I said, overall, from a user experience perspective, this is a great phone. And for my iPhone users out there who are thinking or considering or wondering, can this be an iPhone replacer? The answer is yes, and then the answer is no. There are certain things that you grow connected to in the iOS, Apple ecosystem that you just can't transfer over or get in this platform. So once you are okay with letting those things go, then the S24 is a go for show. Ooh. Yo, I'm back, baby, in the new studio setup. So new studio tour coming really soon. I got you guys. I'm still working on everything. I got to get my sound right. I got to get everything right. But I had to get this video to you guys because I know you've been waiting. I got a ton of videos coming, a ton of projects, a lot going on. I'm behind. So let me get my behind to work.
No watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. Need no middleman, I'm the man to man, send it in. I like what I like, me, I know my rights is sipping in. I like having fun, I do what I want, it's what it is. For my son and son, for my daughters, yeah, it's for my twin. I work through the night.